بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers, welcome back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And in our previous video, part 1, we discussed what anger is and how anger management is important. And basically, at the root of anger management is the reality which Islam understands and teaches us that every human is born with certain qualities, and it's whether those qualities or those characteristics, I should say, awsaf, are turned towards qualities of good or characteristics of evil. So anger has the same basis as courage. We discussed that, and now in this video what we want to discuss is how to actually control our temper, how to manage our anger. What did our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam guide us in this manner? So at the root of it, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that why do we get angry? What actually happens? So metaphysically, what's happening is Rasulullah is telling us that shaitan is flowing through our veins. So because that's where you lose control of your, sometimes even your ethics and your morality, because it's shaitan flowing through your veins. So we're justifying ourselves that my getting angry is maybe for the sake of Allah, whereas it's not. It's for personal reasons. And this leads to ego and leads to other problems. And this happens in children as well. Children have a very big ego. You have to understand that. The smaller they are, the bigger their ego is. They have, and that because they're humans and they're at the fitrah, and the human being in his fitrah has an ego. He thinks himself as superior to others, and that is what needs to be controlled. So what happens is that this shaitan is flowing in our veins. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us a few pieces of advice to how to get rid of this. The first thing he said is we should say ta'awudh. We should say a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Whenever we're upset, we're angry, we know we're going to lose our temper, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Right? Just that has its effects because we're calling out to Allah to save us from this. We don't have the power to save ourselves. Once Sulaiman bin Surad radiyallahu anhu, he says that I was with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and some people began arguing and they started cursing each other, and they were, getting so upset that their veins began swelling, their face became red, at the very peak of their temper and rage. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I know of a phrase that if they would say this right now, then their anger, their rage would disappear immediately. And that's A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So Sulaiman radiyallahu anhu says, we went immediately and we told those people, say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And they said A'udhu billah, and the entire matter was averted. So A'udhu billah, with the right intention, of course, has a very strong effect. The other thing Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that because shaitan is a fire, so we have to extinguish that fire. Drink water. Drink water. You're getting upset, drink some water. You're getting angry, drink some water. If it's your child, get them some water. If you're in school and one of the students, they're acting up, they're about to lose their temper, get them some water. And the other thing we can do with water is wudu. So we should, and when the word wudu comes in hadith, there are two meanings. There's the meaning that leads towards the proper wudu, which we need for salah and for certain forms of worship. And then wudu is also sometimes used just to wash your hands and face. That is also called wudu, although that is not the complete wudu that is necessary for tahara. But sometimes in hadith, wudu is referred to as just washing your face. So say you can't, wash your feet and do the complete wudu. Just wash your face, wash your arms, your face, just basically that water is there to cool down that temper, and it allows you to reflect and it helps you. So have children wash their face or do the complete wudu, preferably. What else can we do? If we're standing up, sit down. And if we're sitting down and we're getting upset, lie down. Recline. Relax. Let your muscles loose instead of tightening up. So instead of getting tense, you get relaxed. So the more relaxed you are, the more you will be on top of your anger and your temper. What else does Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam tell us? That hold your silence. Don't respond. Don't respond. Be silent. Once Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some other man, not a Muslim, came and began abusing and reviling Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu tried to hold his peace, and he kept on going. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sitting there smiling, and this man is abusing Abu Bakr, and Rasulullah sitting there smiling, and he kept on going, and at a certain point Abu Bakr lost it. He couldn't take it anymore. He responded. He didn't respond in the same tone as the other man, but he did respond. At this point, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam got up and left. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu caught up with him and asked, Ya Rasulullah, what happened? That man was abusing me, and you were sitting there and you saw everything, and when I responded, you got up and left. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that, Abu Bakr, as long as you remained quiet, Allah had deputed an angel who was responding on your behalf. He was responding on your behalf. But when you decided to take matters in your own hands, then the angel left and shaitan came, because now there would be a fight, a brawl. So shaitan comes to instigate events. Now that shaitan came, then I had to leave. So as long as you were silent, Allah was sending an angel to speak on your behalf. And then Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave some really beautiful advice after that. He said that, O Abu Bakr, there are three solid truths. There are three things that are inevitable. First of all, he said, if a person is wronged and he forbears it without seeking revenge, just for the sake of Allah Almighty, Allah will honor him and give him the upper hand and his help. So the help of Allah and dominance and the upper hand comes when he hands the matter over to Allah, his own personal matter. Once again, these are personal matters, not matters related to the ummah. Then he hands this over to Allah, then he will be helped by Allah. And the other thing he said, if a person opens a door for giving gifts and cementing relationships with relatives, Allah will give him abundance. And if a person opens a door for seeking charity for himself to increase his wealth, Allah will further reduce his wealth. Allah will make him a pauper. So three things he said are inevitable. First is, when you hand over your affairs, your personal affairs to Allah, and you do not retaliate, you do not seek vengeance, then Allah himself will give you honor and dominance and help and make sure that people respect and honor you. And the second he said was, if you strengthen your relationships for the sake of Allah, then Allah will give you abundance. And the third thing he said, that if you seek charity to increase your wealth, you seek donations to increase your wealth, then Allah will further increase your poverty. So another thing we have to do and have our children do is analyze what actually triggers us to lose our temper, to get angry. A lot of times we don't even know the triggers, and we don't know where it hits us. So we fall in the trap where we could have avoided that trap of losing our temper. So help yourself and help your children understand what those triggers are. And if you analyze and if you look deeply, you will figure out there's a pattern. There's certain things maybe someone says, someone does. For example, I'll be very open. One of my triggers is when I feel that someone is doing something to endanger my life. So if someone is driving really fast on the wrong way, on a one way, right? I will get triggered because I feel as if he is actually attacking me. So that is one of my triggers. So I have to be careful when I'm driving that if someone does something stupid like that, or if they run the red light or anything like that, then I have to control myself because I can't help that other person. So help yourself and your children figure out the triggers so that you can circumvent them. And the other thing is that understand the implications of losing your temper. You cannot undo the damage that you do when you lose your temper. So don't lose your temper, because when you lose your temper and you're in a rage, you will do things and you will say things which will hurt and cause such damage that you're unable to repair that. There's a very beautiful story of a boy who would lose his temper, and he would say mean things to others in such a way. So his father wanted to teach him how to control his anger. So his father got him a bunch of nails, and he said, keep these nails with you. And he got him a hammer. And he said that whenever you feel angry at someone, go and hammer a nail into these fence posts. And later on, when you feel that, okay, it wasn't a big deal, and now, you're over it, go and take out that particular nail. So the kid started doing that. After a few days, the father asked, okay, can you go show me your nails? So the son took him. And so in some of the posts, there were nails, and in the others, there were holes where the nails were. So father said, look, every time you get angry and you say mean things to others, you're driving these nails in their hearts and you're injuring their hearts. And even if you pull it out later, that hole and that injury, that wound remains. And no matter, you might have recovered your temper, and you might think everything's okay, but their heart remains with that injury, and they might not find it in their heart to ever forgive you. So it becomes very dangerous. Control your temper. Don't lose it. And instead, when these holes in these posts cannot be filled, the holes in the hearts are even harder to fill. So here are some of the pieces of advice, the golden advice of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to manage our anger. And similarly, in class with our students, we can help them. One thing that helps is breathing techniques. So we say, okay, breathe deeply. Okay, count backwards from 10, 9, 8. There are different techniques that educators around the world practice, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, and they're effective because they're along the same lines that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us. So you should also have, and your teachers should also have a list of such techniques and implement them wherever necessary. It really works wonders, and it makes your learning environment so much more beautiful. And most importantly, these children who do get angry and upset, they have a very powerful fuel inside them that can be turned towards khair of this ummah. So let's not let that go to waste. Turn it in the right direction. These are the ones who will end up being the leaders. So if you find a kid who is losing his temper quickly, remember, they're the ones who will be the leaders of tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.